If you ever need to join copper pipe together, one of the best fittings you can use is a soldering fitting, which is often called Yorkshire fittings. And these fittings actually have a bead of solder already in them, so when you clean your joint and apply heat, it actually solders the joint for you. The other type of joint that's similar to that is an end feed fitting, and that actually has no solder in it at all. So we're just going to make a joint now using a soldering fitting. So as you can see, I've already cut the pipe, but what we need to do now is deburr it. So I'm going to use this deburring tool, and I'm going to deburr it on the inside and on the outside of the pipe. So that's removed the burrs on the inside, and then if we just spin it around like that, that's removed the burrs on the outside. So now you can see we've got a burr-free pipe. So we just need to repeat that on the other piece of pipe that we're going to be joining. So now the next step is to clean the actual pipe itself, and to do that we're going to use a piece of Scotch-Brite pad. Now you can use wire wool for doing this, but the problem is with wire wool is that you get tiny pieces of wire, steel wire on the inside of the pipe, which you don't really want. So you're better off going out and just buying a couple of these Scotch-Brite pads, and these will clean the pipe up nice and clean. If you use a self-cleaning flux, you don't need to clean the pipe like this, but I don't like the self-cleaning flux, I'd rather do it this way. So now we'll just clean the end of this pipe. And you can see that the Scotch-Brite pad does do a good job of cleaning up the pipe, because this is a piece of rather dirty pipe. So this is the solder ring fitting, and if you look on the inside there, you'll see the actual ring of solder at both sides, and that's what actually melts and gives us a good joint. And these usually come, and these have the size stamps on them, but it's difficult to get them mixed up. But this is actually a 15mm one, which is the correct size for the pipe that we're using. So before we use that, we need to clean the inside of the fitting using the Scotch-Brite pad as well. Now these kinds of fittings, I'm pretty sure now that they're all made with lead-free solder, but if you're doing any jointing like this on pipe work for drinking water, it's essential that you use lead-free solder. So we therefore need a flux that you can use on lead-free solder, and this particular flux is compatible with lead-free solder. Now when you're applying the flux, you should never use your finger. You can buy a flux brush like this, which costs pence, and that's perfect for applying the flux onto the pipe. So we're just going to take a little bit of flux out of there, and then we're going to apply it to the pipes. And when you've done that, you can then insert your fitting. So we're just going to push that into there, and we're going to push both ends in till they're all the way home. So we're just going to take a rag now, and just going to remove any excess flux from around the fitting. And you'll see that the fitting is actually supported here, and it's important not to move the fitting once you've soldered it until the solder is actually cooled down. So now we're going to get the blowtorch and we're going to heat up that fitting. But before we do that, we're going to ensure that we've got our safety glasses on. So I've got my safety glasses on. So we're now going to light the blowtorch. So now I'm just going to start applying heat to the fitting. So you can now see that the solder has come out of both sides of the fitting. So that joint is now made. So we just need to give that 5 minutes to cool down, and once it's cooled down we can then give it a wipe with a damp cloth to remove any of the excess flux. So you can see now that the fitting's cooled down, so I'm just going to give that a wipe with a damp cloth just to remove any of the excess flux. And when you're doing this, there's no need to be afraid of leaving the heat on a little bit longer. Once you see the solder come to the edges like that, you can be confident that the actual solder is all melted in there and you've got a good seal. But if you want to leave it on a couple of seconds longer, you can do. And also, before you use the pipe, you're going to have to actually flush it now, even if it's on a central heating system. You're going to have flux that's inside of that pipe and it is corrosive, so you're going to have to flush it before you can use it.